G'day everyone, welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. I'll be Nat. This will be my Knackers Yard. This will be the XJ650 that I am pulling back together, hopefully, and that's the top half of the bottom end up there. I'm going to start rebuilding it today now it's painted. So I want to get this back together so I don't have parts everywhere before I then move on to the top half of the bottom end. Sorry, no, the bottom half of the bottom end. And start squaring that away a little bit more. I've got a few purchases to show you, and I'll just set you up and I'll show you those. Right, so purchase wise, got the new chain guide or starter chain guide. It is different part number, but it is an updated part number. I don't know if I've still got the half of the other one knocking around. I think I have. Did have, there you go. What they've done is got rid of this, the centre piece, because it's just a weak point, but it's, you know, it's the same. So that arrived, that was Fowler's, that was super quick. That was. Keep an eye on the dog, she's watching for other dogs. My starter clutch with a non, or with all the teeth intact. I think it was Ian that says don't put that old one back in. Well, that's kind of the point of the last upload, was showing that I'm not, but the teeth are all considerably better. I've taken it apart, had a look at it. So the bits that I needed was the bolts inside, because they are knacked on my one, but this is all brill. So the whole piece is going to go back in. It's in better condition than my one was. What else did I get from there? It's got the idle cog. I can't get that one out, so I'm going to use it again. It looks fine. There's no chunks out of the teeth, but I do have the all-important securing bolts to hold it in place, which was probably the cause of the issue to start with. So yeah, so looking good. And I also got a flasher relay because my one wasn't working. Cool. I've got them with the engine part, with the frame parts. I didn't show myself getting out of the bearings for the main crank. They are just a clip and a push, and they've been in the correct order up on my board. A few people saying about that. What I don't have, and I'm fucking stupid for not having it, well, what I do have is a cup of tea, which is nice. What I don't have is any assembly oil, so I'm just going to have to use engine oil. It's not great. I know I should be using proper stuff, but I don't have any. So I'm just going to have to be careful when I put it back together and just hand crank it a bit first. Try and circulate some of the oil first. And the dog is supervising. Hey, supervising dog. Hello, buddy. Come here. Hey, come here. Can you smell oil? Probably. Dog's supervising. She's keeping an eye on me because it's Grand National Day today, and we've done our annual bet. So we'll go and do that in a second. Right, I've got a little bit longer than I thought because I'm confusing the day that the time that the whole Grand National starts and the time of the race. So I'm going to crack on now. I'm probably just going to speed you through this because I'm going to be working super slow because I don't really know what I'm doing. But I may drop in a voiceover. I have just banged in the retainer for the idle clutch and bent over the thread, so that's damn sight better, and I am now content. And I probably could have got away with just doing that in the first place. Now I've got, as I said, I don't have assembly oil, but I do have oil, engine oil, nice and clean. So I've got a pod of that. Itty bitty paintbrush. I'm just going to be coating stuff as I go. Just to keep it nicely covered. I start off with the bearing cases. Now bearing in mind I have had these. Bear in mind I have had these. I'm a freaking comedian and a poet, and I didn't know it. I've had these pinned up on the top there in the correct order, so I know they're going back in the same order that I pulled them out, in the same location I pulled them out. Now I'm going to stop talking bollocks and just get on with this. Right, there's a bit of a pause there. I've had to I had to think as much as anything else, but I had to go through some old videos to work out, old footage, sorry, to work out what goes where, which I'm pretty much there, and it's the value of filming, frankly, it's so that I can look at it and go, well, that used to go in there. So I've got that going in the background. I've got headphones on. I've started to get to do it more so that I don't get copyright strikes on whatever I'm listening to while I'm uploading. Right. Now it would make sense if I put stuff back in the order that I did. So Gotcha. Just had to look on the other side because I couldn't quite see how it was going to go back together. But one of the half moons, the final half moon, is in the other end. I'm struggling to get it out actually. Let's see if I can encourage it. I'm going to have to check the book. Now, let me just stop me talking to myself in my ear. Because that's weird. Right, so I think we're there. We're back. We want to be together. We're back together as together goes at the moment. So everything's positioned in the right place. Freewheeling as much as I think it needs. I have no reference. I'm being really careful with the paintbrush. I don't want to start tearing bits out if it snags. Stop. Yeah, we are back. That was confusing slightly. It was just, a couple of mil out, but that's all you need to be at times, isn't it? Let's face it. Yeah, the difference between success and utter failure. We're there. What I can afford to do now is keep this the right way up, cover it up, because I don't want to get crap in it. Need to have a bit of a reorganise down here, but that is the top half back together, he says. Yeah, that's the top half back together, and I can get on with trying to sort this bottom half. I just need to put this somewhere secure and safe and clean, that it's not going to get messed up by other activities. Right, so that's the bottom end I now need to have a look at. So what I have done is I've started to have a go at it, and I've covered the oil sump. I haven't covered the filter end. I do need to do that before it gets any muckier. It's going to need a sluice out on the inside as well. Just just lots of clap. The actual gear side of it is fine. There is nothing wrong with it, so at the moment at least I don't intend to fuck around with it. But what I do need to do is, there's very little point me trying to clean out the inside yet, because I need to do some dirty work on the outside, which frankly I should have done beforehand. That blanking plate's a pain in the arse, it's thoroughly stuck in, and I don't want to cock it up by trying too many things. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's just stopping it lying flat more than anything else. That's cool. Right. So what? I really want it as flat as I can get it. That's going to protrude one way or another. Oh no, that's okay. Means I should be able to get it quite flat, which means I should be able to keep most of the crap out of it while I beat it up. By beat it up, what I mean is trying to keep that gear selector out of the way. Now by beat it up, I have tried to rebuild around where that section was missing. It's just off your screen. There we go. Like that. I've tried JB this time. It takes forever to fucking dry. Cure. Sorry. Really does. But I've just tried to build a rough shape, and obviously I'll hack away back at it. What I have done is I've made the choice I don't want to blast it. It's just loose shite predominantly, and I've had a bit of a go at this side and it's come out really quite well. Now what I've done is I saw in Lidl or Aldi, I can't remember, both the same as far as I'm concerned. Whoever does Parkside, I think that's Aldi. Really cheap sets of brushes, like not that one. Where are they? Like that. For about like £3 each. It's just got the little brushes on it. So all I'm doing is just belting through it with these. They don't last that long. You're not going to get years out of them. And I'm just going to carry on cleaning what I can and what I can get to, and get it as good as I can. Yeah, I'll get on with that. I won't film it because literally all I'm doing. Oh, I hate people using the word literally when it's not what I mean. But all I'm doing is going around it. Not with this. This was me tidying up that edge. All I'm doing is going around it with the tiny little brushes, just digging through it and getting whatever I can get out of it. Right, and it is just bouncing through it with the old, just digging through, trying to get a few years worth of corrosion out of it, and then I'll give it a good wash off right at the end. It's dull, time consuming, makes me wish I was blasting it, but if it means that I don't have to completely dismantle in it and I can get away without doing that, then I'll do this, I think. Yeah, we'll see. Or I'll get bored and I'll end up soda blasting it. One or the other, don't know yet. Right, I'm going to get on with this. I won't make you watch. Boring. It's boring, it's repetitive. Right, I have thought better of it. I've come this far, do it properly now. So I've just I tried to film it and it didn't film for whatever fucking reason. So gear selector drum has been extracted out, so that's by pulling the pin at the top, the retaining pin, which has got like a cross pin across it. and the neutral switch, and then it's just really pulling that out from the other end. I'm now on the input shaft, sorry, output shaft, beg your pardon, output shaft, so it should just be these three. Which I have had a look in before, so I've only hand tightened them, so they should come off relatively easily. Got the book open next to me because, just to say it again, I don't know what I'm doing, but I've got a book. Oh, hang on, don't want to forget that. That's the bearing shaft. That would have confused me later. Why does this rattle around? My thinking being, if I'm going to do this, I'd do it as close to properly as I can. I've come this far. Why not do it to the furthest degree that I can. Alright, so take off that end, no oil field drilling, displace the 5th gear. Don't know what that actually means. Well, let me read this bit. And by displace, it just means push it through from the other end, I think. So that's the end bearing off. So that is balls in rather than balls out now. As in inward facing. Right. Displace the 5th gear, which I think is that one because it fits through the hole. And it goes that way, so knobs in. Slide them to the left and allow the right hand end to be lifted through the casing. So slide them to the left. They don't slide to the left. Just took some wiggling. And lift the whole piece out. Gotcha. So that is down that way, down and across. So when it goes back together now. Right, we're now completely stripped out. Brill. No, we're not completely stripped out, because what I still have in here are the main bearing pieces, which I want to get out now. I need a little hook I did last time. Right, so business end towards me, that's one. Trying to find where there is a tiny lip to grab without mullering it. That was the middle one, wasn't it? Right, now we are stripped out. Now clean it properly. The only bit that I've got stuck in is one of the horseshoes, wishbones. I might just see if I can persevere a little bit with. Gotcha. Right, so that was from that end. Right, let's give this a good blast out and clean out. I've got bearing in still. I can don't really want to. Don't have the ability to particularly press that in. Can I knock it out? If I can knock it out, can I knock it back in? Yeah. It's come out nice and easily. I've fortunately got a nice tide mark on it, so I know which way it goes back in. So it goes back in from the inside to the out nut. Do notty forgetty. Right, I'm going to break out the old jet wash, because I think that's going to be more than good enough to get rid of the shiten left on this. And that might have to do me for now, whilst that cures off. Or finishes curing. Right. Now I am soaking. And that is cleaner. Right, I'm going to give that a dry off and then just leave it doing its thing, particularly whilst the last of that JB does its thing. And then tomorrow give it a final clean up, sort out the profiling of that and drill a hole in it, probably put a helicoil in it. It doesn't need to be secure because it's, you know, it's a blanking cover when it comes down to it. Chuck some paint on. Right, and there we go, about as spick and span as I can get it, I think. Gonna get it masked up maybe tonight. I'll see how it goes, and chuck some paint on it tomorrow. I ended up getting my air hose out and just blasting what water was there away, particularly out of the threads and bits and pieces, where it's just gonna linger. Yeah, that'll do for another one. Thanks for sticking by me, those that are. This is a long process, longer than I thought, and I'm probably being more thorough than I need to, but I want to do it right. Yeah. Right, so should be able to get this masked up, should be able to then get this sprayed tomorrow. Probably not going to get it back together tomorrow, but there's lots of other bits I can do between now and then, and whether or not I film just throwing it all back together, I don't know. I'll see how I get on, I'll see how I feel, but we're getting there. I just wish this stuff would fucking cure quicker. JB World is letting me down. Right, that'll do me. Cheers. Thanks a lot. Ta-da.